Hi there, this is Greg Ford yet again, and I'm getting bored with myself at this point, but I'm not bored with Frank Tashlin's Scrap Happy Daffy, another wonderful World War II propaganda cartoon starring Daffy Duck, the perfect companion piece to Tashlin's Plain Daffy, which was made shortly afterward. And if you look closely on the credits, you'll see Art Davis as the credited animator on this cartoon. Art Davis, who later directed for a spell and then turned animator again and became a solid fixture in Friz Freling's unit. And I think that was his first screen credit at Warner's right there. This was Tashlin's return trip to Warner's after having been in the story division at Disney's and heading Columbia Pictures animation department for a while. And Davis had also just come from Columbia. So we begin with the yodeling Daffy, whose mountains of scrap metals saved for the war effort have grown to Alp-like proportions. That's what they asked citizens to do back then, conserve tin, rubber, and whatnot. Just like now they ask people to go shopping. Ba-dum, boom, psh, never mind. The song is We're In to Win, credited on the cue sheets to Private Morris Orenstein, but the words have been rejiggered a bit to suit the in-theater public service purposes of the film. Now look at this. It's great Tashlin direction. Yeah, it crashes, and suddenly there are multiple Daffy voices. I love that. Now this song, along with We Did It Before and We Can Do It Again, was a patriotic musical staple and a great vocal by Mel Blanc. I mean, it's an unbelievable performance. I mean, some people think Mel was a little overrated back in the day when that was inevitable. Because he's the only person that got any press at all for years because no one understood what anyone did except the voice artist people they could understand. But now, if anything, he's underrated. I mean, this is a virtuoso vocal performance and exhausting, apparently. That Gilbert and Sullivan type patter song is definitely the hardest stretch. Now, Daffy says, how do you like that, Schicklgruber? Schicklgruber being Hitler's real name, by the way, kids. And now we have a match dissolve, visually equating Hitler with a horse's hiney. What can I tell you? Now, that subtitle, Non-Aryan Duck, I mean, it's one of the most remarkable things in a cartoon I've ever seen. It reminds me of a story Mel told me once that I hope I have time for, but in the meantime, watch this. We're getting right to here a perfect mock-up of a Lenny Riefenstahl type camera placement. I mean, this is coming from die-hard film fan Frank Tashlin, who directs with a true movie freak's borrowing of everything from Riefenstahl to the Fleischer's Popeye and Superman cartoons. You'll see that later. And this cartoony montage, which is found now here, you see reflected his keen taste for feature picture making. You know, it's elaborate montage showing the mounting Nazi menace, which is very similar to the World War II action movies that were being done at Warner's at the time, with the montages usually done by Don Siegel and Byron Haskin with all the quick cuts, sharp angles, and multiple insert shots. And this whole schmear, of course, is a big build-up to the revelation of the Nazi secret weapon sent to destroy Daffy's scrap pile. And what is it? What else? It's a ghost. What else could it be? So he's destroying Daffy's scrap pile, sort of like a typewriter here. Now, maybe I have time for that story that I remembered when I saw that subtitle, Non-Aryan Duck, that Mel told me many years ago. Well, not that long ago. It came up in conversation, the difference between Daffy's voice and Sylvester's voice. And I thought to myself, oh, gee, that's an easy one. Everyone knows that. Daffy's voice is sped and Sylvester's voice isn't sped. And Mel said, no, it's that Sylvester is Gentile and Daffy's Jewish. Came as a surprise to me. So, like Sylvester would say to Tweety, hello, breakfast, like that, you see. Whereas Daffy would say it with a different inflection, different intonation, like, hello, breakfast, like that. I don't do it very well, but it's just a fascinating insight to me, a valuable insight into Mel's mind that he always thought of Daffy, like the chief difference between Daffy and Sylvester. He thought of Daffy as a Jewish comedian type, basically, and Sylvester not.
You criminals are all alike. I can see it in your eyes. Just a stupid ignoramus, a numbskull, a nitwit, a nincompoop. Why, it's just a poor little sick billy goat. Hey, William, this'll fix you up. A sodium acetyl salicylate.
Oh, now you have a little Alka-Seltzer commercial. Typical of Warner's attempts to make jokes about popular culture, even in the middle of a wartime experience.
Dinner discomfort and loginess.
You can tell he's a Nazi coat because he's wearing as he says, because he's wearing a Nazi necklace. It's sort of a dead giveaway.
Sheep's clothing.
I love those quick cuts Tashlin does. It's like the quick editing he does. It's like a really fast shot of Daffy. I don't know how many frames that was, maybe 12. But it reads so well. You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you? As many variations on this joke as they can get. He's all glasses, This was one of the very last black and white Warner's cartoons. Now, the next one Tashlin did, that's nice little dissolving animation there. The next one Tashlin did, Puss and Booty, was the last black and white cartoon. That was actually the last Looney Tunes black and white cartoon.
I'm through. Oh, what I'd give for a tennis.
Now, this is a brilliant sequence, and it just reminds me of something no one does anymore, which is sort of make fun of ourselves in some way, I mean, there's great-great-great-uncle Billingham Duck, or whatever it is, and there's John Paul Duck. I mean, there's no doubt what side this cartoon is on. It's, it's pro-American, anti-Nazi, obviously. But the thing that Tashlin does that's so good tonally is that, and graphically, I love this white on black outline thing, is that within the context of this American jingoism, there's Abraham Lincoln Duck, he sort of makes fun of super patriotism at the same time with this Superman parody coming up.
That's right. And I'm an American.
I'm an American duck. And the drawing is so absurd of Daffy as Superman. It's just great that within the context of jingoism, admittedly, we can laugh at the stupidity of this sort of self-appointed super American that that shot is great, and it's still a completely an anti-Nazi cartoon. I mean, I don't know, that doesn't seem to happen anymore. It's like people's patriotism so easily questioned. Of course, these were very clear-cut moral terms at the time. But anyway, this is a great cartoon with a great tonal sense to it, and great balance, between hatred of the enemy and self-mockery.
Next time you dream, include us out.
This is Greg Ford, Super American, signing off. Thank you very much.
That's all, folks.